Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. And right now, I am doing a series on how you can create a more frugal and affordable and sustainable Christmas. So, we've gone over a lot of things so far. We've gone over the budget, we've gone over gift giving, and cards, and clothes, and one other that I can't think of right now. Um, and so now let's talk about food. Now, this is an area where your budget may actually end up going up depending on how you choose to incorporate things. So, there's a lot of food associated with Christmas that we sometimes don't think about. How many of us buy candy canes or Reese's Santas or Hershey's Kisses in uh, green and red wrappers, or you know, red and green M&Ms, or whatever. Some of those you just can skip, but then there's also things that you can't necessarily skip. If you're the one who hosts Christmas dinner and everybody gets there and you don't have dinner, they're going to be pretty upset. So you definitely need to have food for that. But there's also things that your food budget may go up. So I suggested, instead of gifts, maybe doing something like a cookie exchange. Well, this could increase your grocery budget or decrease it. It really depends. If you are like, okay, so my mom, when I was younger, she would spend days cooking baking Christmas cookies. We each got to choose two kinds of cookies. And then she had all like the ones she would normally do. I typically chose lemon bars and spritz, I want to say. But she would do like the peanut butter cookies with the Hershey Kiss in the middle. She'd do the peanut butter cookies with the fork thing. She would do the lemon bars and blondies and chocolate chip cookies and spritz, and I'm trying to think. There was just like, the counter was constantly covered. I remember when I was little, we had like these cookie press things, and it wasn't just like a cookie cutter, but it would like press the shape of Santa into the cookie, and then we could decorate it with like frosting and sprinkles and stuff. And then with the spritz cookies, she had like all the different shapes. So we had like the yellow camels and the green wreaths and Christmas trees and red poinsettias and all sorts of stuff. My mom just literally was constantly in the kitchen for days because of the baking. My grandma did this thing, and I guess my mom said that once my grandma hit a certain age, she quit baking cookies for the thing, and she just had my mom bake the cookies for her cookie exchange, which kind of sucked for my mom, I guess. But they would do a cookie exchange, and this is where, if you, instead of doing like gifts and everything, they would get together and they would all bring a couple of different cookies, and they would trade cookies, and then they could come home with a bunch of different cookies. It worked out really well for them. And then everybody has a variety of cookies without having to cook 72 different cookies. So you could do that, and that could either decrease your budget because you are essentially only baking the two, and it's maybe just easier in general. I think it would more so decrease time because you're still cooking as many cookies typically. Or it could increase it slightly because now you're baking more cookies for people that you didn't normally, but you're also then taking that money that's increasing in the food budget away from the gift budget. So it's okay to kind of sometimes have it raise. If you are the one hosting a big dinner, so one of the things we did growing up with my dad's family, we all got together on Christmas Eve. It started out at my grandma's and then just like moved eventually. But most of my childhood, it was at my grandma's. And we would all bring an appetizer. And then we get there and somebody would have brought shrimp cocktail, and there were always meatballs and trying to think, shrimp cocktail, meatballs, ramakis, which are like water chestnuts that you've marinated in soy sauce and brown sugar, and then you wrap bacon in them, and then you cover them in brown sugar, and then you bake them, and they're really good. Probably like 1,000 calories each for this little appetizer, but they're dang good. So, you know, and my dad was like from a really big family. He was one of like 9. So there were a lot of different food choices. And then it took away some of that work. And then my grandma wasn't having to spend a fortune feeding all of her kids and grandkids and everything, because she was on a fixed income. She was a widow and all of that. So there's that. So you could do like a potluck or an appetizer kind of thing. There's options there. You could do BYOB. And that could kind of cut costs into that food and drink budget. You could, trying to think, you could really shop your sales and kind of adjust your menu based on what you can find. Like, I always find it amusing that there's this meme that goes around on Facebook every year about how Black Friday, we don't need a new TV, we need cheap groceries. And I'm just like, did you look at any of the groceries? Did you look at the factor that, like, potatoes are 10 cents a pound, sweet potatoes are 10 cents a pound, turkey is, 40 cents a pound, everything is on sale. All the food is. And even if you're not hosting Christmas or Thanksgiving, when that food goes on sale, when the hams go on sale, when the turkeys go on sale and everything, you can buy them and have them for your own self. So, pay attention to what's on sale and kind of adjust your menu accordingly. If you can't afford something, see what you could afford instead. Find substitutions. Lots of things can be done to adjust your food budget. Lots of food is on sale around Christmas, so if you're cooking, hosting, whatever, you've got potluck, you can shop sales, you can adjust your menu, try and serve the more popular dishes, things that you make for one person. They may have to go and no longer be served, because if you spend, like me, I love sweet potato casserole. So I will make sweet potato casserole from scratch for myself. I take the time to do it. I am pretty much the only one who eats it, and that is fine. It is kind of expensive, but not too bad. I mean, sweet potatoes, brown sugar, and marshmallows mainly. So pretty cheap ingredients, actually. Though I may try them with agave nectar this time. Anyways, but if you have a really expensive appetizer or dish that people make, like shrimp cocktail, get rid of the shrimp cocktail. It's expensive. And maybe go with a simpler, low-key appetizer. Figure that kind of thing out. As far as the Christmas candy goes, minimize it. You don't need to have 72 different pieces of candy in your kid's stocking. You don't need to be going through, I see people, and I've been that person who, you go to the store and you get all sorts of candy and then you eat it all and you're like, oh, now I need more candy. And if you just don't buy it in the first place, or if you just buy one bag instead of 7 bags, thinking this will last me through the Christmas, and then be like, where'd all the candy go? That may be that may be kind of key to how you do it. So find ways to kind of like cut, but also accept the factor that if you are cutting in all the other areas, especially in the gift area, and maybe we'll get over it, like some of like the meals out kind of area that frequently happen around Christmas, then your food budget and the Christmas food you're buying may go up. And so that's okay, because if your food budget goes up $100, but your gift budget goes down $500, that's still a net positive of $400. So you're going to kind of want to look at that and see, are we incorporating more ways, or are we, and is it okay? So know that as some areas go down, it may cause some of the areas, it may push them up a little, and that's okay. Because the goal overall is to get the whole budget smaller, and looking at it piece by piece is kind of one of the ways we do that. And even again, if one piece goes up because the other pieces are going down, and that piece has to go up a little to accommodate the other pieces going way down, that's okay. Anyways, again, my name is Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Right now, I am doing a series on how to have a more frugal Christmas, kind of breaking down the different parts, the different budget areas of Christmas, and trying to kind of help there. Anyways, again, if you want to hear more tips for frugal living, or learn more about Christmas budgeting, please go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.